Yankees at Target Field in July. The Menards batting order for the Twins in Game 2. Brian Dozier leading off. Then Joe Mauer, Jorge Polanco, Eduardo Escobar, Byron Buxton sliding down to 5th. Eddie Rosario, Robbie Grossman, Chris Jimenez has had some success against CC Sabathia, so he's in there tonight. And Max Kepler getting a start against a left-handed starting pitcher.
And 37-year-old CC Sabathia on the mound here tonight for the Yankees, making his 25th start, his first against the Twins this season. A couple stints on a disabled list this year for CC Sabathia, left hamstring strain and a sore right knee that actually he got operated on over the winter, but that's been something that has given him some trouble. Now this is a big man right here. They listed him at 6'6", 300 pounds.
Yankees out in the field. Brett Gardner in left made a couple of nice plays yesterday. Jacoby Ellsbury, Aaron Judge, Todd Frazier, Didi Gregorius, Starlin Castro, Greg Bird, Gary Sanchez back behind the plate.
And CC Sabathia's always been tough on the Minnesota Twins when he first came up with the Cleveland Indians, former Cy Young Award winner.
Sanchez doing the catching for the second night in a row. I'll be curious to see whether the Twins employ their bunting game against Sabathia. He's never been one to field his position particularly well. He's had a knee issue. The Twins have struggled against him. Struggled to score 1 run last night. So we'll see if there are some bunt attempts for base hits, particularly in the early innings here tonight. Dozier, Mauer, and Polanco. And we're sorry for the delay, but we will get started almost exactly an hour late. Dozier on the first pitch. Drops it into center field for a base hit. Might have cracked his bat, but he'll take it. A nice exchange and a leadoff single.
And that's one thing you want to do. You want to get CC Sabathia early. About half the runs he's allowed this year have come in the first 3 innings. So you want to get CC Sabathia early before he gets settled in.
And that'll bring up Mauer. Joe usually has fair success, at least against left-handed pitching, but he's had his problems with Sabathia. Just 7 hits, 43 at bats, a 163 average, and 17 strikeouts.
Sabathia, good fastball still, even at 37 years old. A good slider. Like that right there.
Strike 1.
Most of his fastballs now he throws are 2-seam sinking fastballs. And the nasty sliders created a lot of strikeouts for him over his career.
Another interesting thing to watch. Twins gave up 4 stolen bases yesterday. How many, if any, will they try tonight on the Yankee battery? There's Mauer dropping a bunt up the line, and it hits the edge of the grass, and a bunt single, hugging the line all the way to third base. Usually when the ball hits the edge of the grass, it'll kick it across the line.
Well, Joe laying it down. Watch the ball right there. It stays on the dirt. Little bit of grass. It's starting to go foul, but kind of made a little turn, almost like these hurricanes we're seeing.
Well, the Twins do have a bunt single. It comes from Joe Mauer, and a good start to this first inning with Polanco moving up to the 3rd spot. Polanco's never faced Sabathia.
You'd like to get on the board first, see if Polanco's swinging away or if he's trying to bunt.
There's a good bunt. Frazier picks it up, and Polanco beat. Oh! And everybody wants to take a look at that one because I think Gary Cederstrom might have missed one.
Yeah, right away, Jeff Smith, the first base coach, put his hands on the helmet like this is something you may want to look at.
Keeping in mind it is the first inning, and the Twins need to be sure that they can get this overturned.
Well, let's take a look right there. Wow.
And they are going to look at it. This is a huge gamble with nobody out in the first inning. And on that angle, it sure looks like he beat the throw. So we'll see whether it's overturned. At the very least, a sacrifice. But more importantly here, the Twins are using their challenge before the game's first out. And so the Twins now have perhaps bunted for base hits twice against Sabathia.
I've said it before, one guy on the Twins that knows how to bunt, and that's Polanco. He's done a good job this year of laying down that ball, not only for a sacrifice, but right there, maybe for an infield base hit.
We don't want to pick on Gary Cederstrom. I consider him a friend, and we've got Minot, North Dakota pretty well covered here. We've got Gary Cederstrom from Minot, Marty Gellner from Minot. All we need is Josh DeMel here, and he might be here for all we know. This call should be overturned.
And Gary Cederstrom saying that he's safe.
So the gamble pays off. The Twins have back-to-back bunt singles, and they're loaded with nobody out for Eduardo Escobar. Escobar hitting cleanup. Moving pictures are nice, but sometimes a freeze will tell you that the ball is 3 feet away from Bird's glove when Polanco's foot hits the bag.
Yeah, the right foot on the bag before the ball got to the glove. He's safe.
Sabathia has thrown 5 pitches. He's given up 3 hits.
Escobar 2 hits and 9 at bats against Sabathia. Yeah, Sabathia has given up 37 of his 56 earned runs in the first 3 innings. So again, a veteran, you want to get him early if you can.
Foul back, and it's 1-1. 12 games left for the Twins, counting tonight's game. Escobar with a good average, but without a home run with the bases loaded. One and one. Hit towards short. It'll be a ground ball double play. The Twins are on the board, but Sabathia jams Escobar to get a double play.
That's a huge double play for Sabathia and the Yankees.
And now Buxton.
They got in the kitchen a little bit, and a one hopper to Gregorius to turn. Dozier does score, but there's 2 outs now with Mauer at third.
Buxton trying to pick up Mauer at third base with 2 down. We've seen Byron try to ambush that first pitch if it's a fastball. And he takes a breaking ball low. Key for the Twins tonight is to not do what they did repeatedly last night, and that is take that left-handed breaking ball in the dirt and take it. Don't swing at it. Jaime Garcia got the Twins to lunge after so many breaking balls in the dirt, and that one stays outside. 2-0. Garcia came up with his best start as a Yankee. Still did not get the win. Back to Sabathia right off the end of the bat. Couple of bunts and a run for the Twins. It's 1-0. The 92nd run of the season for him, the first of the ball game tonight. The Twins have a 1-0 lead. Joe Girardi saw the Yankees last night get a first inning run, and indirectly, I guess, that run was the difference in the game. The Menards batting order for Game 2 for New York, same as it was last night. Gardner, Judge, Sanchez, Gregorius, Headley, Castro, Ellsbury, Frazier, and Bird.
And Jose Barrios on the mound, making his 24th start, his second against the Twins. He beat the Twins back in Minnesota back on July 19th.
Beat the Yankees.
Or Yankees, excuse me. I guess you can't beat yourself, can you?
Well,
beat yourself over and over, yeah.
1 strike to Gardner. Gardner, Judge, and Sanchez facing Barrios. Picked up a win against the Yankees. Pitched into the 7th inning. In the 6 full innings, 4 times he only faced 3 batters. He was in control of the ball game and this Yankee lineup at Target Field.
A couple walks in that ball game, only that 1 run allowed, 5 strikeouts through 104 pitches in the 6 2/3 innings.
0-2 to Gardner. Fastball low, 96 miles per hour. Professionals are able to focus in big moments, and Barrios will be challenged to do that. New father since his last start. His 3rd child entered the world, and he and a lot of other people are concerned about the latest hurricane threat in the Caribbean. Barrios from Puerto Rico, and it sounds like Puerto Rico's in the bullseye again for Hurricane Maria, Category 5 hurricane. 2-2 to Gardner, who has taken all 4 pitches.
You know, as a baseball player, a lot of things happen in your life, but when you're between the lines, you have to put them aside.
Shortstop Polanco's out, making the catch, 1 away, and that'll bring up Aaron Judge. Twins out on the field. Have their best outfield. Rosario, Buxton, Kepler out there. Escobar, Polanco, Dozier, and Mauer the infielders, and Chris Jimenez doing the catching. He has had some success against Sabathia, 5 hits in 12 at bats and 3 walks.
Well, let's see if the Twins could get this second guy out. Now, the last 3 ball games, it was Josh Donaldson that hit home runs, and then last night it was Judge that got the offense going.
First pitch was a fastball, and it's fouled away, 1 strike. Twins had a chance to put up a big number in the first inning. They only got 1. Barrios will try to protect that 1-run lead. And another fastball, 98 miles per hour. Now, we've seen 97 occasionally.
You know, we saw this in his last start in Toronto. He came out and got it up in the mid-90s.
That's to left center field, and Judge has a soft single with 1 out.
Well, that's it beats the home runs that these guys have hit in the second hitter. But you're ahead in the count right there. You got to make a better pitch than that. He's got a good curveball, like the first curveball he threw. When he left it up a little bit, allowed Judge to go out and hit it. You can see not a bad pitch, but when you're ahead in the count, you want to bounce that ball.
I don't know, usually that's a pretty good spot for a pitch, but when a guy is 6'11" and has, 48-inch arms, I mean, he can go out and reach that outside corner. Here's Gary Sanchez. I might have exaggerated a little bit, but I had a chance to talk to him a little bit yesterday, and he's a mammoth human being. Sanchez takes a fastball and a strike.
You know, Mauer is good size.
Yes.
And when he's standing at first base next to Joe, look at that. It's like Frank Howard and Boog Powell.
I guess that's the comp for people my age. Frank Howard was he was in a class by himself in terms of physical stature in the 60s and 70s.
Yep.
I guess including the 50s. He was what, 59 Rookie of the Year, wasn't he, with the Dodgers? Mm-hmm. 1 strike to Sanchez. Just off the outside corner. Barrios is really relying hard on his fastball. Just the 1 breaking ball, and it ended up in the outfield grass. 13 ground ball double plays for Berríos on the year. And then off the plate again. Maybe the gun here is a little hot. Maybe that might help explain Chapman reaching 104 last night. We've never seen Berríos hit 98.
No, 98, 97. No, it's usually he tops out usually 96 in that 5 or 6.
Two and one to Sanchez. Chopper to third. Escobar gets the out at second. Relay to first. Not in time. Judge with a thorough slide, shall we say, through second base. Dozier was able to step aside in self-preservation.
This is where that new rule comes in, where, you know, a big guy like Judge, he could have taken Brian and put him in the left field in the olden days. Now with this new rule, the second baseman or whoever's covering second can basically stay there.
See, the key to me there is Escobar's throw. It was an accurate throw. Brian could catch it and play on the outfield side of the bag for his throw. And Judge came in late and hard, but legally. Here is Didi Gregorius. Fastball off the outside corner. As the Twins have someone a bit peculiar hitting cleanup for them, Eduardo Escobar in this Yankee lineup. Gregorius is their cleanup hitter. He's got power. He's had 24 home runs. And missing the outside corner again, but not by much. It's 2-0.
I mentioned before, young man born in Holland, grew up in Curacao. He played for us in the WBC. He did not play shortstop. Of course, Simmons played short. He played center field. We had Gregorius out in the outfield. Good athlete.
Berríos behind 2-0. And now 3-0. Chase Headley on deck. Twins would like to get some clean innings from Berríos tonight. Didn't get any from Irvin Santana. Just seemed like it was a struggle for him all night long.
They want to make a good pitch here. Gregorius might have the green light.
And he missed outside. Soft single to center. Now a walk, 2 aboard with 2 out for Chase Headley. Headley didn't face Berríos in Minnesota, so he's facing him tonight for the first time.
Headley, a switch hitter, hitting .289 from this side of the plate. 8 of his 12 home runs as a left-handed hitter.
Five in a row off the plate, and he fell behind Sanchez before Sanchez hit into the fielder's choice.
Yeah, as soon as Jimenez caught that ball, he was on his way out to talk to Berríos. Get back down in that strike zone.
'18th pitch of the inning. Twins would love to get in off the field and do some more bunting. One 1-0 to Headley. There's a strike over the inside corner.
Headley, 33 years old, in his 4th season with the Yankees. Spent 8 seasons with the Padres before coming to New York.
Just off the outside corner, 2-1.
Missing that outside corner.
Yeah, and Barrios kind of looks down and away in disgust because he thought he had the corner there. Let's see where it was. Oh, it was outside. Gabe Morales, the home plate umpire. Now a 2-1 count. Tap foul.
A good changeup right there and a fastball count. Barrios averaging almost a strikeout per 9 innings. Or a strikeout an inning. Averaging about 3 walks per 9.
Sanchez at second. Gregorius at first. 2-2 the count to Headley. Strike 3. I don't know if I believe 97, but a belt high fastball to end the inning.
Start up the second inning for the Twins and the Yankees in the Bronx. We look at our car scoop from the clubhouse. There's been a lot going on in Jose Barrios' life right now. He and his wife just welcomed their 3rd child. He's also really concerned about his other family and friends in Puerto Rico, his home country. Dick Bramer just talked about that. Paul Molitor said, you know, this is just baseball. It's beneath those other things, no matter how big we try to make it sometimes. Yankees center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury has reached base a record 31 times because of catcher interference, but Molitor said he does not think it's intentional. He also said he wouldn't be surprised to see Chris Jimenez scoot just back just a bit during Ellsbury's at-bats. And if Miguel Sano can get healthy, there's no guarantee that he would be on a postseason roster if there is one, because Molitor said the concern would be if Sano has his timing at the plate and that it would be really hard to give up other players at-bats. Just wondering if Sano would have that, Dick and Bert.
Yeah, thank you, Marty. And the discussion was centered around Sano and his inability to get here on this road trip, at least to this point. That is a foul ball. You know, the fact of the matter is, as much as Sano would be welcomed in the middle of this lineup, the lineup has been productive. The middle of the lineup has been productive. So at what cost would you bring someone back who hasn't played in 5 weeks with, at best, a couple of pinch hitting appearances? You're not limited in September. You are, come playoff time, to a 25-man roster. That off the hands of Rosario's bat, and it's 1-2.
That almost off his chest. No, I know what you're talking about, Dick. So right now, you could pinch hit him, but now you're taking somebody else's spot on the bench that you might need to play somewhere.
I asked Paul, I said, is there a date where you're just going to say, look, he's just not available to us? And he said, we're not at that point yet. Hard ground ball. Only infielder on that side is Gregorius, and close play. He does throw Rosario out. He said, we're not really thinking of establishing a date, but you can understand the concern. Let's say, and we certainly hope this is the case, that in 5 days, Miguel says, I'm ready to go. The doctors say I'm ready to go. So he comes in, say, to Cleveland for that series. And then those games are still important. It's not like you can say, well, all right, we've got the division wrapped up, or we've got the wild card wrapped up. We're going to get them some work, because the Twins need every game that they've got left on the schedule.
Right.
Robbie Grossman, the designated hitter, takes strike one. Swing and a miss. That's when Paul said a few days ago that he was at the end of the homestand. He was more discouraged than he was at the start of the homestand about getting Miguel back. That's what he was talking about. The time between now at the end of the season where you can have as many people on the bench as you want, but Miguel is not ready yet. Grossman takes the call, third strike, and 2 down.
Yeah, curveball right there. He'll throw that slider, occasional curveball. That looked like a bigger break than his normal hard slider. Almost took something off that.
Right down the middle, and Sanchez couldn't catch it.
Tough time catching it. That strikeout right there, he ends up tying Mickey Lolich for 18th place on baseball's all-time strikeout list. They both have 2,832 strikeouts.
And Lolich was a big left-hander toward the end of his career. Yep. You pitched briefly with Steve Carlton.
I sure did.
1-0 to Chris Jimenez.
I don't think CC's going to catch lefty. Steve Carlton.
Not the strikeout pitcher he once was, not the flamethrower he once was. Still has a chance, of course, to get 3,000 strikeouts.
Well, you look at Randy Johnson now, he's a strikeout pitcher, and then you think of Nolan Ryan's 5,714 strikeouts.
At a time when 3,000 was the magic number, right?
Yeah.
In terms of Hall of Fame candidacy, and it was very much considered to be as much as 3,000 hits are now.
Walter Johnson held that record forever.
Jimenez waits and fouls it back.
I remember when I first came up and I got some strikeouts, and you look at who was the all-time leader at that time, it was Walter Johnson. 3,503, something like that.
That was like Lou Gehrig's consecutive game record.
Nobody will ever catch that. Nolan almost doubled it.
2-2 to Jimenez. 4 in a row set down by Sabathia, and he takes up and away 3-2. Kepler on deck.
Yeah, Sabathia, 6-time All-Star. He won the Cy Young for the Indians, American League Cy Young Award in 2007. Pitched for Cleveland, Milwaukee, and in his 17th major league season, his 9th season wearing the Yankee uniform.
Jimenez got a fastball off the plate, strikes out, and after the 3 hits that started the game, Sabathia set down 5 in a row. Jose Barrios pitched through a single and a walk to preserve a 1-0 lead. And now in the second inning, Starlin Castro, Jacoby Ellsbury, Todd Frazier will bat. You know, the Twins have done what they can to kind of calm Barrios down a little bit. They put him in the rotation between two pitchers who barely have a heartbeat out there on the mound in terms of animation and reacting. He's between Santana and Colon, and between innings, Neil Allen, I think, trying to talk to Barrios, Jimenez too, just to bring him down to earth a little bit, because he does tend to get overamped. He's 23 years old. One and 0 to Castro. Now a fastball zipped inside, 2-0. Everybody's different. You know, I mean, this guy wears his emotions on his sleeve. Very intense, very focused.
I don't think we've ever seen him blow up.
No.
You know, he shows that much emotion. He's a very competitive young man. You know, he talked to his teammates. Nobody works harder than him to get ready for each start, but everybody does it in their own way.
But perhaps he was guilty of trying to overthrow the ball a little bit in the first inning. Saw the velocity was up, but the command was off.
You know, if you're not up for a game like this is almost a playoff type atmosphere for Barrios. All these are building blocks to hopefully a long career. So yeah, you want to be focused. You want to find that little extra inside of you to pitch well, whether it be here in New York or wherever.
2-2 to Castro. Chopped to third. That is a fair foul ball, says Gary Cooper.
Yeah, ball had to go over the bag, and Eric Cooper saying it went foul.
Still 2-2. Take a look at the ball down the line, and the guy who played Lou Gehrig in the movie, Gary Cooper. 2-2. Fastball up and away. 3-2. Issued a 2-out walk to Gregorius in the first. Ellsbury on deck.
See where Jimenez sets up right here. Little bit off the plate.
And down and away, a leadoff walk.
You know, Barrios in his last 6 starts, we saw some good Barrios. He had 3 games that he pitched 7 innings, and in the other 3 he worked into the 6th inning, unable to get through it. But a good record, 2-2. Very good earned run average. So the opponent's batting average only at .219.
And now Jacoby Ellsbury. In your 23-year major league career, how many times did you see a base runner get aboard with catcher's interference, do you suppose?
Not too often, no. What'd you say, 31?
31 is the record, and he owns it. Paul, as Marnie said, Paul Molitor said he'd be very surprised if Ellsbury in any of those cases tried to do it.
You'd almost have to swing straight down to try to do that. I mean, he's got a semi-long swing anyway. Stands as far as he can in back of that batter's box.
1-0.
And kind of sweeps at the ball.
There's a strike. Backing off to 93 miles per hour, but he put it in a better spot.
See where he is in that box. A little bit of an open stance.
And Jimenez perhaps is an inch or two deeper in the catcher's box. Strike called, and Mauer goes down to his knees to block a low throw.
You know, Twins lost 2-1 last night, and you know, you could say they didn't get the big hit or whatever, but what the Twins were, the negative part is they let this guy get on base, and they let Brett Gardner get on base. Two of the fastest guys for the Yankees, and they ended up stealing 4 bases and a big part of that 2-1 win. So these are the guys you have to keep off the bases.
Berríos hasn't been ahead of many hitters. He is ahead of Ellsbury 1-2. Just missed. 2-2.
And Berríos wanted that one too.
The fastball in the first inning was off the plate.
This is a breaking ball.
That was a strike.
Yep.
And now another 3-ball count. Pitch counts up there. Only 3 outs on the board, and he's thrown 33 pitches.
Yeah, 21 in that first inning.
See if Castro takes off here on 3-2. When he pitched against the Yankees in the middle of July, the 19th to be exact, 6 2/3 innings, and he threw 108 pitches. And 4 times he only faced 3 batters in an inning. Jimenez threw out a runner for him in the first inning. It was a double play grounder later on. No runner going, and the pitch fouled back.
And Castro has only 1 stolen base in his only attempt. Means a 2-seam fastball away.
Popped up down the left field line. Escobar, the warning track, very slick, and he makes the catch. Twice they emptied the tarp and dumped it into short left field, and then the water drained across the foul line onto the warning track area. That's a very treacherous area. Well, at least it was. It may be the warning track, part of the warning track, that has the best footing right now because of all the diamond dust they put down there.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time working on that area right there. Not at all on the warning track from right field to left field.
And the wind blowing in from left field. Here's Todd Frazier. Check swing. Low ball 1.
Frazier coming over from the White Sox in July. Kind of a homecoming for him. He grew up in this area in New Jersey.
Short fly ball to center. Buxton coming in. And that's out number 2. I'm going to bring up Greg Bird. Let's get tonight's showstopper from some of the pride of Minot, North Dakota, Marty Gelder.
Why not Minot? Yeah, the Twins will head to Detroit after this series, and Oakland is there right now. Matt Olson has homered for the 5th consecutive game. It's also his 15th home run in the last 3 weeks. The A's had 14 hits last night and beat the Tigers 8-3. They're taking care of Detroit, and Matt Olson is on some kind of roll right now, Dickenberg.
Wow. Pretty impressive. 2 down. Here's Greg Bird. Low, ball 1. .38 pitches, only 19 strikes for Berríos. Giving up a single and 2 walks. Pull shift in the infield during the Bird at bat. And he falls behind again, 2-0. see Polanco, the shortstop, playing on the right side. Escobar, the third baseman, playing equidistant between second and third. Gardner on deck, another 3-ball count.
He's missing the outside corner, not by much. And Escobar in to try to get Berrios, keep his confidence up, get that ball back over the plate. Bird, a guy that has that uppercut swing, so another guy that has some power. He missed all of last year. Bird did.
Three 3-0 with Gardner on deck.
Right shoulder surgery.
And a 4-pitch walk. The third walk, first time through the order. He's had 4 3-ball counts, and Neil Allen and Jimenez will try to succeed in doing what they failed to do during the inning break, and that is get Berrios back in the strike zone.
Neil Allen said right there kind of made Berrios smile a little bit.
Gabe Morales on the mound too, try to move things along here. Berrios has worked himself into some jams. The 2-out walk to Gregorius put a couple of runners aboard in the first. Now a pair of walks here in the second. Gardner popped up to short left field. Polanco hauled it in.
As Neil Allen left, Jimenez stayed there just for a split second. Remind him with the runner at second what sign they're using.
There's a first pitch strike. He has been reliant on the fastball. He's not had the greatest command of it, but we've seen him really try to establish that fastball. Hard to do that when only half of them are strikes. And a breaking ball, tap foul.
Well, you get ahead in the count like that, then you can start mixing in your other pitches.
I suppose it's tough to mix in a breaking ball when it's 2-0 and 3-0.
Well, his #1 pitch is the fastball, and I think once he learns better control of that fastball, we're going to see Berrios, I think, for a long time. And blessed with a good arm.
Ahead of Gardner, 0-2. Got ahead of Judge 0-2 and gave up the lone Yankee hit so far. Cracked foul. Castro started the inning with a walk. With 2 outs, Bird was walked. Twins hanging on to a 1-0 lead. Pitch number 45 already for Berrios. And another fastball fouled back. And Jimenez to the mound again.
See if Jimenez gives a sign right here. There's always people that think other clubs steal signs.
I wondered about that when I saw him go out to the mound there.
Yep.
Yep, no sign given. Poked down the left field line. It'll twist foul. that was the rebuttal of the Red Sox being charged with using the Apple Watches to steal signs. The Red Sox said in turn that the Yankee TV network co-conspired with the Yankees to get the signs from center field.
Well, you know, Berrios is moving that right arm around a lot. He's fidgety anyway, but he's really shaking that off, especially the wrist area. I'm hoping that he's all right.
0-2. And Gardner with a base hit. It'll tie the game. Rosario's throw to third base. No chance to get the runner there. And Gardner goes to second. So given the opportunity, the Yankees eventually tie it up, and then Rosario compounds matters.
That's another fastball. This one stayed up. And a bad decision by Rosario to throw to third base. You have to throw to second right there. You see the pitch up. Jimenez wanted it inside. And Gardner just hits it sharply the other way. Castro scores to tie the game. And Bird hustled over to third, but the throw went to third.
Here's Judge with two men in scoring position. High fly, center field. Buxton back, and the wind might help keep this in the ballpark. Inning over. It's one apiece, with the Yankees getting 3 walks and 2 hits early on against Berrios. Against a left-hander. Postseason tickets go on sale Thursday, September 28th. Tickets will be available for the potential 2017 tiebreaker game on Monday, the American League Wild Card game, and the American League Division Series. Kepler takes a strike. Tickets will be available exclusively at twinsbaseball.com beginning at 10 a.m. Thursday, September 28th. Here's Kepler getting a start against CC Sabathia, and we'll see maybe if he's not in bunt mode a time or two tonight. Driven to right and deep and gone. Max Kepler with his 18th home run of the year, a bullet against Sabathia.
And that is the first home run that Sabathia has allowed to a left-handed hitter this year. His 19th home run allowed. And Kepler, a line drive home run over the short porch in right field.
And know that feels good to Max because it's been conspicuous the way Paul Molitor's put out his lineup against lefties.
Yeah, this looked like a slider, just kind of hung right there.
It's Kepler's first home run against a left-hander. Just his 10th run batted in. He came into the game hitting 132 against lefties, so that one had to feel really good for Max Kepler. Twins abruptly back in front, and now here's Dozier, who singled and scored in the first. Popped up short center. In fact, it won't even get out of the infield. Gregorius with the catch, one down. The reason I keep mentioning bunting, it obviously got under Sabathia's skin a few starts ago against the Red Sox. It was 3 starts ago, and Eduardo Nunez bunted in a bunting situation, trying to get on base. That's part of Nunez's game. We know all about that from the time he was with the Twins. And Sabathia's quote was he thought it was weak for Nunez to try to bunt on him. Mauer takes a strike. And the Twins in the very first inning on back-to-back pitches got a couple of bunt singles, one from Mauer, one from Polanco.
Joe, and then Polanco's got a bunt right there. He was asked to bunt the sacrifice. He just turned it into a base hit. For Joe, hey, you know what? If they keep playing you the way they play you defensively, lay it down. That's a good bunt by Joe.
They've already brought Frazier in on the edge of the grass for just about every at bat here. And maybe by doing that, that will impact the outcome of the game. 1-1 to Mauer. Twins started the inning with a leadoff hit by Dozier, then 2 bunt singles, bases loaded, nobody out. And the Twins got just 1 run out of that. Off the plate now, 2-1.
The Twins looking to beat Sabathia for the first time since 2013. And over his last 14 starts dating back to 2007, he's 10-1 against the Twins with a 2.6 ERA. So he's always had the Twins number.
But he has always pitched against the Twins with a really good team behind him.
That helps.
With the Indians were really good when he was with them, and then they went into rebuild mode after dealing him to Milwaukee. And the Yankees have been consistently good. 2-2 to Mauer.
When you get
3-2.
When you get to where CC Sabathia is, there are certain clubs that you pitch almost. This is his 17th major league season. He's basically pitched a very good season against the Twins out of 1 of the 17. 250 and a third innings coming into this outing for Sabathia. He's 18-9 in 37 starts. That's basically a season, a good season, a Cy Young type season.
Fouled away by Mauer.
ERA at 3.16 in those 37 starts. More complete games, 2 career shutouts against the Twins. Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach for the Yankees.
Another 3-2. Tap up the middle. Gregorius down to pick it up and throw him out. 2 down. The Indian rebuild that we spoke of wasn't built around players that the Indians got for Sabathia. The Brewers got away with that trade awfully lightly. Everybody thought Matt Laporta was going to be the key to that trade. He fizzled. Zach Jackson, Rob Bryson, and Sabathia, of course, went on and had such a great second half with the Brewers, going 11-2 with a 1.65, and then after that signed his first deal with the Yankees. 1 strike to Polanco. Dropped a bunt single between the mound and the line in the first inning. Fouled away, 0-2.
He's been a workhorse. Guy, if he's healthy, will give you 200 innings more a year. In today's game, that is considered a workhorse.
And by your standards, or the standards of pitchers in your era, more like a Shetland pony, 200 innings, right?
Yeah, pretty much. You want to be a horse? 250 plus.
0-2. Right field corner, and that'll be twisting foul. Earlier we mentioned Mickey Lolich, and still the numbers astound me. 1 year, what, 40 starts and 357 innings or something like that. 357 innings and 40 starts, basically completed just about every game he pitched. It's a different era now. 1-2. Pulled foul. You went over 300 innings
one time. 40 starts, 325.
Were you able to brush your teeth in the wintertime?
I wanted to play winter ball. They wouldn't let me. Sabathia here tonight is 507th major league start. He's worked now over 3,300 innings, 234 wins, only 146 losses.
2-2.
That is a great win-loss record. Percentage.
Escobar on deck.
.38 complete games, 12 career shutouts for Sabathia.
Angels will get started in about an hour. They're hosting the Indians. 2-2 here to Polanco. Off-speed pitch got it. Max Kepler jumped all over a Sabathia pitch to put the Twins back in front 2-1. You're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm. Hit one over his head as he stands in right field, over the wall and off the facing of the second deck here at Yankee Stadium to very quickly put the Twins back in front. We'll see if we can have a better inning from Jose Barrios here, who's fallen behind batters, walked 3 of them. Missing inside, ball 1.
Only 4 first pitch strikes of the 11 batters he's faced so far. So falling behind, he has 3 walks.
Most of the numbers in his last start were okay against Toronto. 5 2/3 inning, 5 hits, just 1 run allowed, but there were 4 walks. There's a strike, 1-1. Start before that, good, solid. 7 innings against Kansas City. Four starts ago, 7 innings, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts against the White Sox. 1-1. Flared foul, and it's 1-2. Sanchez reached on a fielder's choice, hit a ground ball to Escobar his first time up. It'll be Sanchez, Gregorius, and Headley here in the Yankee third.
Orioles wants the curveball. Not even close.
He has thrown 52 pitches and only 28 strikes.
Yeah, Jimenez called fastball, and then Orioles shook him off for the curveball. Come back with a better curveball here.
Got him.
It's a breaking ball that's big. I mean, it'll start, if he throws where he did right there, about a foot outside, it'll start about the inner part of the plate. Take a look where this starts and then where it ends up. So it's a big breaking ball. And Sanchez swinging at it. And the second strikeout for Berríos.
Yeah, that was headed right down the middle of the plate, or so Sanchez thought. 1 down now, Gregorius. Swing and a miss.
Gregorius, of course, trying to fill some big shoes here in New York with Derek Jeter no longer wearing a Yankee uniform. He's done a pretty good job. Came into the game hitting .292. 24 home runs, which tied Derek Jeter's high for a season. He's driven in 81.
Jeter part of the new ownership group with the Miami Marlins. Outside, and it's 2-1. See Berríos stomping on the rubber. He's a little frustrated that his command isn't better tonight. And he does a lot of that. You mentioned shaking the arm and fidgeting with his cap, and there's the breaking ball and a wave and a miss.
He swung through 2 breaking balls, so you almost have to throw him another one just like you did right there. Don't try to make it better. I think when you're young, and I went through that, you're trying to make, okay, if I throw another curveball, I'm going to make it better than the last one. And the last one was pretty good.
He missed it by a foot. Drilled to right. The soft ground keeps it in the ballpark, and on his way to second is Gregorius with a double. And the next one wasn't as good as the prior one.
No, I didn't have the bite. It's almost like a get-me-over type breaking ball. Gregorius, left-handers, of course, like that ball down, and he went down and hit it sharply. Take a look at this curveball. You see it stayed up. After you threw a good one for the first 2 strikes, you left that one up, and Gregorius took advantage of it. It's a 1-out double. First extra base hit by the Yankees, their 3rd hit.
And now Headley is struck out swinging to end the first inning. Tying run at second with 1 down.
And Headley took that fastball up to get Berríos out of that first inning.
Missing outside. Yeah, that was called third strike, wasn't it?
You know what? Just watching Berríos just flying open. Maybe a little bit too quick, and that arm is dragging. Sometimes you have to tell your lower part of your body to stay over that pitching rubber a little bit longer, allow that arm to catch up and create that downward plane. That's a changeup that misses there.
And it's 2-0.
Sometimes it's just the little things. You have little reminders out there, and I went through the same thing. Show more back pocket, meaning stay over the rubber a little bit longer. And that allows that arm that's quick anyway to catch up with the lower part of your body.
2-0 to Hadley. There's the outside corner.
Take a look right here. Better angle, better location.
Right down the middle with a fastball.
Sometimes it comes and goes. You know, you try to push, you try to do a little bit too much. Pitch count up. Now to 62. But you always have to think angle. Angle with the fastball, angle with the curveball, and also the changeup. See Berríos putting that foot against that pitching rubber. That's almost like a starting block for a pitcher to drive off of.
Fouled away.
Left that breaking ball up. It's not a curveball. They may call it a curveball, but to me it's just a big sweeping breaking ball. Bigger than a slider, of course. But a curveball to me is more north to south. His goes more east to west with a downward break. Sometimes you get underneath that with that thumb rather than getting a big knuckle of your thumb on top of that baseball.
Another 2-2 to Headley. Change-up tap foul. It was a 2-1 ball game last night. The Yankees were awful with men in scoring position, left 9 men on. They did get a clutch 2-out hit from Gardner here to tie the game up in the second.
Now Jimenez going out again, and don't be surprised if he doesn't give a sign right here what they're going to throw. So maybe the Twins feel that they're picking up the sign somehow, maybe on that changeup that Headley, was maybe sitting back. Jimenez felt he was sitting back on it.
Off the end of the bat. Foul.
Watch out. Rudy Hernandez.
Good to see Rudy in the dugout with the September call-ups. There's no limit on the number of coaches you can have in the dugout. And Rudy, for most of the seasons, had to be in the video room and batting cage.
Welcome to fresh air.
Done a good job, and to the extent some of these guys are figuring things out this year, Rudy deserves some of the credit.
He sure does.
2-2. There's a fastball and a foul tip. Jimenez hangs on. 2 away.
He threw that fastball 95. Little extra right there. Picks up his third strikeout. Second of the inning.
And now Starlin Castro.
Stayed back nice here. The drive. You can see the good arm that he has. The whip that he can generate to throw that fastball. And Jimenez pointing at him. Now that's the one I want to see.
66 pitches. And Berríos still toiling in the third. Tying run at second, 2 down. Castro walked leading off the second and scored what was then the tying run. Dozier picks it up, flips to first, and Berríos strikes out Headley for out number 2, and then gets the third out on the very next pitch. On Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit buyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. 3/10 innings tonight after a tense 9 innings last night. Twins in front tonight. Here's Escobar to start the 4th, and he swings through strike 1.
Now, Twins had a chance early on with bases loaded, nobody out. Escobar came up and hit into that double play. Twins scored only 1 off of Sabathia. They had him on the ropes.
And now 1-1. Escobar, Buxton, and Rosario. Twins getting their first run using short ball, a couple of bunt singles, then getting the home run from Kepler to retake the lead. That is foul by inches. Escobar making a bid for a hit down the line. Mentioned Sabathia being dealt from the Indians to the Brewers, and the way it's listed here in the Yankee media guide.
Player to be named later.
Player to be named later. Quite a player was named later. I'd forgotten that it was Michael Brantley.
Yeah, if his name was in there, we would have mentioned it.
Brantley, centerpiece of that trade as far as the Indians were concerned. Escobar chases. It's a strikeout, 1 down.
And strikeout number 4 for Sabathia.
That'll bring up Buxton. Leading into October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. We support their vision of creating a world in which domestic violence is not tolerated and where victims and survivors are supported and empowered. Find out how you can join the conversation by visiting foxsportsupports.com. Here's Buxton with the corner infielders playing up. Up and away, ball 1. Byron hit a number back to the mound to end the first inning. Great stop at third by Frazier, and he throws him out. You will not see a better play by a third baseman this year. Wow.
Especially who hit it. Buxton right there. Frazier, boy, he got up quickly. He knew who was running and threw it as best he could over to first base. And Greg Bird gets it before the speedy Buxton can get to the bag.
Man alive, that was a nice play. 2 down here in the 4th, and Sabathia has set down 5 men in a row again. Here is Rosario. Chop up the line. Easy play for Bird and an easy inning for Sabathia. He's retired 6 in a row. The Twins hold a 2-1 lead. Jose Barrios with a better third inning, and we'll see if the fourth inning is better than the third.
He needs what a Sabathia had right there, a 7-pitch inning. He's averaging about 22 pitches per inning, and you can see the 67 pitches after 3.
His strike percentage is creeping up, and with that, the greater likelihood he'd get an out like Castro's out on the first pitch. Here's Ellsbury, fouled out to Escobar his first time up. Jimenez held it. Morales didn't call it. Ball 1.
Escobar in about even with the bag. You always take the bunt away from this guy. Very good speed.
There's a strike. Down the left field line past Escobar, and running to second is Ellsbury. He's in with a double. Just up the bat out and poked it between Escobar and the line. A leadoff double.
Well, the pitch was left up, and Ellsbury just kind of reached out. You can see the movement on that pitch that was out of the strike zone, a changeup. Hitting it right into the corner with Ellsbury's speed. Even though Rosario played it perfectly, it's a double.
You saw Fox Tracks presented by Ram. Tying run at second. Nobody out. Here's Frazier. Hit a fly ball to Buxton his first time up. Down the middle, a strike.
Jimenez going out, just saying remind him about Ellsbury, because if you don't keep him close or look back a couple times, he may try to take off for third. Dozier moving in a little closer here now. There's a second look.
Fouled away, 2 strikes.
A lot of times with a speedster like Ellsbury, what you want to do, last night's ball game, he stole a couple bases. Also, Brett Gardner stole a couple bases. Those guys, these guys are jackrabbits. You want to keep them off the bases if you can, because they are quick.
2 strikes to Frazier. Barrios in search of a strikeout. Frazier wondering whether he got hit. He's going to ask the Yankee dugout to check. Look from up here like it got his sleeve.
Well, fastball in.
Nope.
Oh.
They
say no. Let's keep playing.
I saw his sleeve move, but that was just his quick movement away from the pitch.
Might have been his heart pumping too on that good fastball up and in.
1-2. It's kind of iffy when a hitter looks in the dugout and says, that might have hit me.
Didn't Antonio Oliva say that about Nolan Ryan?
Ball went through my body.
Yeah.
2-2. Nothing has come easily for Barrios tonight. The breaking ball has been a weapon.
Good pitch. Strikeout number 4. Saying about Barrios, when you have a quick runner like that, a lot of times what you like doing, or you should learn to do, is get to that almost to where you spin around move, just to show them that you have that.
And now Bird, who walked when the Yankees got their run on the second.
Let's see, now Brian Dozier's moving to a deep second base, so now it's Polanco who will try to keep Ellsbury close to second.
missing again. Another first pitch ball. 76 pitches, 44 strikes, 32 balls.
7 of 18 first pitch strikes.
Swing and a miss.
Good fastball there.
Foul back. And now 1-2.
Bird just 24 years old, his second season. Again, he missed all of last year with the shoulder surgery. Jimenez out to talk to Berrios. He's missed most of this year too. He had ankle surgery, right ankle surgery. Missed time from May 2nd to August 26th. That right ankle.
1-2. Foul back. Beyond this year, kind of an important couple of weeks for Bird. There's some pretty good first basemen that are going to hit the free agent market. And he needs to prove that he A, is healthy, and B, can be productive. Two and two. Eric Hosmer, I guess, would head the class of free agent first baseman. Two and two. 80 pitches for Berrios. He's only gotten 10 outs. 3-2. Bird hitting 147, and Berrios walked him in the second and is in danger of walking him again here in the fourth. Fifth 3-ball count for Berrios. 3 of them have been followed by ball 4.
To be honest with you, I thought there'd be a lot more.
Fouled back. What would you guess? I suppose we could find somebody to find out for us, but 82 pitches, 60 fastballs?
Probably about that, yeah.
A few changeups mixed in.
Yeah. Ellsbury hit the changeup that led off this inning with a double, but got to hook him right here. Curveball. Might freeze him.
He was waiting for it.
He left it up, though.
That was much like the one he threw Gregorius that got hit for a double.
Good curveball, not a hanger.
Three 2-strike fouls for Bird in this at bat. Changeup missed, and he's walked the number 9 batter twice.
And a fourth walk for Orioles.
Twins leading. Toyota giving us a chance to get caught up.
Well, Twins got on the board first inning, bases loaded, the double play turn, but Dozier scores, makes it a 1-0 Twins lead. But the Yankees come back in the bottom of the second inning with 2 outs. Brett Gardner with an RBI single. And in the top of the third, Max Kepler hitting a home run against Sabathia. First home run against Sabathia is allowed to a left-handed hitter. And for Max Kepler's 18th home run.
Beginning of some bullpen activity. At best, Twins are going to get 5 innings from Berríos tonight. Here's Gardner, drove in the Yankee run with a single. And he takes ball 1.
Well, the stuff is there. The mechanics are off for Berríos here tonight.
And coming off a start against the Blue Jays when most of the numbers were okay, but he walked 4 and 5 2/3 innings.
We have not really seen too many of those fastballs that have create that downward plane. Everything has been even or up.
1-0 to Gardner.
Changeup missing. Gardner got a fastball a couple innings ago that he lined into left field.
And here comes Neil Allen to try to help nurse Berríos through this 4th inning.
Second trip for Neil Allen. Out to talk to his right-hander.
And to buy some time for Buznitz.
The whole infield in.
To Gardner. Four walks already, including a leadoff walk in the second, and Castro walked and scored. Bird, the number 9 batter, hitting 147, has walked twice. A walk here would load the bases. There's the outside corner.
Now you want to stay in the ball game right here. You have to get this guy out.
Aaron Judge on deck, and he's leading the league in both home runs and walks. Gardner's hit into just 3 double plays this year in nearly 600 at bats. Foul back, and it's 3-2. Picked up a couple of strikeouts with a big breaking ball, but those are the right-handed batters.
Well, it has not been easy.
90th pitch with 1 out in the 4th.
Keep this fastball down.
Under Mauer's glove. Ellsbury around third. He'll score. And the Yankees tie it up. For the second time tonight, Gardner delivers the game-tying hit.
Well, both times he got the count in his favor. Berríos came into with a fastball. And he hit the ball just past the diving Joe Mauer at first base. And Paul Molitor is going to make a pitching change. Not the best of nights for Berríos. Kepler slipped as he threw that ball toward home plate, but Ellsbury scores. And Bird stops at second base.
We saw velocity and we saw a big breaking ball, but we didn't see any command, and Berríos leaves in a tie game. And Aaron Judge will hit next, and he's already on a pretty distinguished list for most home runs hit by a Yankee age 25 or younger. That's our State Farm slugging combination tonight. Ruth Mantle, Garrick DiMaggio, and the rookie Aaron Judge.
Pretty nice company right there for Aaron Judge.
This is an interesting juxtaposition. Alan Buznitz from one of the tiniest towns in North America, Farmington, Georgia, and for the first time he's taking the mound at Yankee Stadium in the biggest city in North America.
Yeah, making his 24th relief appearance. He's done a good job out of that bullpen. 27 1/3 innings, only 19 hits allowed, 8 walks, 20 strikeouts.
Judge 1 for 2. Down and away, ball 1. We mentioned Judge is leading the league in home runs and walks. He's also leading the league in strikeouts. He has struck out 198 times. Buznitz is going to try to get him here in the 4th. Fouled away.
You see that uppercut swing right there that Judge has.
44 home runs from Judge. The guy behind him, Sanchez, has 31. It'll be a tough 2 outs to get for Buznitz here in the 4th inning.
You see first Yankees pair 25 years or younger with 31 or more home runs.
1-1 from Buznitz to Judge. Strike 2 at 96. Last year, Sanchez did roughly for half a season what Judge has done all year this year.
Well, good pitch down right here. Good fastball. 3 double plays turned behind Buznitz so far.
1-2 to Judge.
Great curveball.
That's to the backstop. And both runners move up. Now he really needs a strikeout.
Second wild pitch for Buznitz.
Buznitz from Farmington, Georgia. As we related before, he says there's nothing left there really but post office these days. In relief of Berrios. Two and 2 to Judge. To right. Kepler chasing it. Making the catch. And the Yankees take a 3-2 lead. A sacrifice fly for Judge. He now has 98 runs batted in.
Yeah, it looked like the ball left up right there and the inside outed it with that short porch. He's learned to hit it that way. Drives in. Bird from third base.
Moving to third is Gardner. Sanchez will bat. He's reached on a fielder's choice and struck out. Half swing, strike 1. Nice block by Jimenez. That was a tough one, landing in the left-handed batter's box.
It's kind of the breaking ball he wanted to throw Judge, but you can see Sanchez unable to hold up. Jimenez knocking it down.
One strike, and Sanchez gets time. Lead on the fastball, 0-2. 0-2 to Gary Sanchez. To right center. Buxton in the gap. Closes the gap and ends the inning. It's been a series of one-run leads. The Twins had a couple of them early. Now the Yankees lead by a run. Mountain Dew fans of the game, we're so happy to have had Jamie Hirsch on the left there, who used to work for Fox Sports North, now works for the NHL channel and MLB Network. She and her husband are here today, and she stopped up to say hi.
Good to see Jamie.
Robbie Grossman to lead off the fifth against CC Sabathia, who's now pitching with a one-run lead.
Sabathia's retired 6 straight Twins since the home run that Kepler hit.
Last night the Yankees scored first, 1-0 lead. Twins tied it. Then the Yankees took the lead, ended up winning 2-1. Here it was 1-0 Twins. Yankees tied it. 2-1 Twins. Yankees tied it. Now they have a 1-run lead. 1-1 to Grossman. Pulled foul, and it's 1-2. Sabathia pitching on 7 days rest, which, given his physical condition and his age, might not be the worst thing in the world. Dylan G getting loose. Might be that the Twins will turn to their long reliever to try to take this game into the late innings. Speed pitch. Good take by Grossman. 2-2. Jimenez will follow, and then Kepler. Foul tip, and the bat's still alive. Plate umpire Gabe Morales, I think, took the brunt of that foul tip.
Working on his mask. Usually see umpires take a little extra time when a catcher gets hit. This time Sanchez took a little extra time.
Sanchez tried to steal that one for Sabathia. It's a full count with Jimenez on deck.
Fastball away.
Hit to Gregorius. Charges it aggressively, throws him out. 1 down. We'll bring up Jimenez. The Twins, in partnership with the Boston Red Sox, will each be donating $100,000 to the Southwest Florida community to assist with hurricane relief efforts. You can support the hurricane relief efforts in both Florida and Texas by donating online at twinsbaseball.com/hurricane relief. 1 down in the 5th, and now Jimenez went down swinging his first time up. Outside a ball. And a strike that covers the inside corner. Nice take by Jimenez. It's 2-1.
Of course, Sabathia doesn't throw as hard as he once did, but he's always been a good pitcher, good control over his career.
And he's had to reinvent himself because he doesn't throw as hard as he did. That's to short right. Coming in is Judge. And that's out number 2. 2 away in the 5th. Let's go to Marnie Gellner.
I have tonight our big story, which is the home run ball in baseball, and we have seen a lot of them. Tonight in Kansas City, Alex Gordon hit one out, and this was the 5,694th home run of the season, a new all-time record in baseball. It breaks the mark set in 2000. I would bet, Stick and Burt, we're going to top 6,000 home runs by the end of the year.
Give you some idea.
Unbelievable.
Here's Kepler. Give you some idea about the rapid home run rates in baseball. Kepler's home run in the 3rd was the 194th home run hit by the Twins. They will, the hope is, blow past the 200 home run hit mark, and they're 8th in the league. Ordinarily, if you had a team that was going to hit 200 or more home runs, you'd be at the very top of the league, but they're right in the middle of the pack. 0-2 to Kepler. He clobbered one off the facing of the second deck in right.
The Yankees have hit 220 home runs.
0-2 to Kepler. And there's strike 3. 9 in a row set down by Sabathia. And a rough first trip through the batting order, but not the second.
fans, don't forget at Twin Home Games, bring your Circle Me signs, and if you get circled, you may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Dylan G will come out of the Twins bullpen to try to take care of at least a couple of innings here at Yankee Stadium. No stranger to pitching in New York, of course. Bulk of his career spent with the Mets.
Yeah, 6 years he wore a Mets uniform, making his 15th appearance overall between Texas and the Twins.
You can see the challenge facing G, who has not fared well against left-handers, and he'll have a whole bunch of them here in this Yankee lineup. Gregorius with a walk and a double. Pitches up, ball one. And up high again, 2-0. The 4 walks did Berríos in. The high pitch count, the defensive counts. Right, and Kepler sprawls with that ball sinking as it was approaching him, 1 down.
Gregorius hitting it right on a button, but a line drive to Kepler.
And that'll bring up Henley.
G's pitched well out of the bullpen as of late. His last 3 starts totaling at 6 innings. No runs allowed, a couple walks, 3 strikeouts.
Henley, the one Yankee batter, glad that Berríos is out of there. Berríos struck him out twice, once looking, once swinging. Fouled back, and it's 0-2. Yeah, G at a point in his career where he's done fine the first time through the batting order. The problem's been the second time, which has almost eliminated the possibility of facing a lineup third time. Polanco swings over to the right side of the infield. That's Escobar swinging over. And an 0-2 pitch hit him. And Henley will reach with 1 down.
I think he wants to see Berríos again.
That one looked like it hurt, and Headley kind of glaring at Dylan G.
I just tried to get him inside.
I don't know if he was glaring or trying to joke with him.
Voice probably changed.
So Headley's at first, 1 down, and now Starlin Castro.
Again, little leaguers, that's why you wear a cup.
Castro with a walk, a run scored, and a ground ball to second. Hit it right up the middle, but Dozier was waiting for it and ended the 3rd inning. Up and away, ball 1. Yankees in solid position to at least get into the playoffs as a wild card team. They are holding out some hope of catching and passing the Red Sox. Those hopes took a hit last night because the Yankees won a tight ball game over the Twins, and the Red Sox looked like they were going to win, looked like they were going to lose, and ended up winning in extra innings. So the margin between the two teams is still 3. 2-0 now to Starlin Castro. And a strike. If the first wild card chair goes to the Yankees and the Twins get the second one, 1 week from tonight, 2 weeks from tonight, these two teams would face each other again in a 1-game format. 2-1 from Dylan G. Ripped to left, a base hit. Headley hobbles to second.
Castro picks up his first hit.
First and second, one down. Injury report: Dustin Pedroia fouled the ball down onto home plate. It came up and got him in the nose, and he is not in the lineup tonight with a bruised nose. He ended up with a bloody nose last night. And the Red Sox second baseman's also had that knee issue that he's been dealing with this year, so maybe a day or two off to heal the nose will improve the knee a little bit. Hooked, foul. Scoreless in the 10th inning, and Pedroia just came off the bench to pinch hit for the Red Sox. No score in the 10th between the Red Sox and the Orioles. So it would appear that the Red Sox game will finish before ours because of the 1-hour rain delay. If they're in extra innings again at Oriole Park. Outside.
What, they go 13 last night, I believe.
But in that ballpark, and I think they had one earlier this year, how many scoreless ball games going into the 10th inning have there ever been at Oriole Park at Camden Yards? 1-1 to Ellsbury. Grounder. That's a fair ball. Mauer will go to the bag and get the second out. Everybody else moves up 90 feet. And now 2 down. Twins fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports North and Twins baseball with you wherever you go. Here's Todd Frazier. He is 0 for 2.
I thought 13. It went 11 innings yesterday between the Red Sox and the Orioles.
They're heading to the bottom of the 10th tonight, still scoreless. On the outside corner. Yankees out hitting the Twins 6-4, leading them 3-2. Breaking ball wide. Cutter missing, and it's 1-1.
That's a big out right here. Couple runners in scoring position, 2 outs.
Flip down the line. It'll be a foul ball. And the count's 1-2. This place hasn't been the house of horrors that a lot of Twins fans might think. Last night's ball game was a good ball game. Twins lost it 2-1. The last 5 years plus here at this ballpark, the Twins are 7-10. It's not great, but the Twins have won their share of ball games here. Problem has been beating the Yankees at home up until this year. 1-2 to Todd Frazier. Just missed, getting a check swing strikeout. Ooh, boy. Gabe Morales almost came up out of the crouch to call a strike.
He's made some good pitches. Last 2 pitches were pretty good inside.
Watch the pitch and then watch Gabe Morales.
That's a strike. Jimenez holding it. Did not get the call.
A base is open. Greg Bird on deck. Buddy Boshears would be brought in to face him. The Twins are hoping to get multiple innings, I would think. Hoping to get multiple innings out of Dylan G. 3-2. And there's ball 4. And now they're loaded up. And now Gene has run into the same situation Barrios found himself in. A single, a hit batter, and a walk. Paul Molitor's got to make a move. I'm quite sure he was hoping not to have to make.
I'll tell you what, he made a couple pitches to Frazier that could have been called strikes, but was not. That last pitch, the big breaking ball that walked him.
Buddy Boshears will try to leave the bases full and keep the Twins in a one-run game. On, and now here in the fifth inning they've got 3 on with 2 outs, and Buddy Boshears will try to get Greg Bird.
Yeah, Buddy making his 35th relief appearance. 33 2/3 innings for Buddy. 10 walks, 1 intentional, 27 strikeouts.
And the Blue Jays beat the Royals 5-2. Indians and Angels just underway. Angels announcing that Saturday's game is going to be another bullpen game. And in the top of the first, the Rangers and Mariners also scoreless. Andrew Haney unable to take the ball on Saturday for his scheduled start against the Angels. And now Greg Bird, who has walked twice, will come up with the bases loaded, and Boshears hoping to get Bird, obviously, but hoping to throw him strikes, something that Barrios had a tough time doing. Breaking ball over the outside corner.
Boshears with a fastball and then the curveball that he'll change speeds with. One soft, a little harder.
Blocked by Jimenez nicely, and it's 1-1.
Couple stints with the Twins this year. Buddy Boshears.
A big guy to get. Twins trying to keep this a one-run game. 1-1 from Boshears.
Another good breaking ball.
1-2.
Straight over the top curveball. Great angle.
And a breaking ball. That one was left up a little bit.
4 breaking balls in a row to Bird.
Bird got a piece of it to stay alive. Another 1-2. Grounder. That came up on Mauer, and a run will score. It'll be an error charge to Mauer, just his second error of the year.
And the first error that is actually the ball in play. So Joe got in front of it. He smothered it, but the ball came up.
The other error was on a foul pop when he was losing his footing. This ball hit right at him.
The ball come up and then
couldn't find
him behind him. Yep.
Good play by Dozier to back the error up, because Castro was at third and thinking of scoring, but with Joe unable to find the ball, Dozier was able to pick it up. A big run for the Yankees, and the bases are reloaded now for Gardner. He's driven in 2 with a pair of run-producing singles. Breaking ball over the inside corner. Dangerous pitch to throw a left-handed batter here at Yankee Stadium. One strike to Gardner. Another nice block by Jimenez. 1-1. Boucher's relying on that breaking ball.
He's thrown 7 pitches. He's thrown 6 breaking balls.
G was ahead of Headley 0-2 and hit him, and Headley has worked his way around to score the 4th Yankee run. One and one. An awkward swing by Gardner. It's 1-2. There's another breaking ball over the inside corner. Another 1-2 to short center, and Polanco's there to end the inning. The Yankees add an unearned run. Time for the Twins to go to work against CC Sabathia. Brian Dozier will lead off the 6th. Series. You're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm. And out of the 6, Dozier singled and scored in the first. Twins had 4 hits and a couple of runs first time through the batting order. 2 of the hits bunt singles, and then Sabathia settled down, retired 9 men in a row. Dozier bluffed a bunt, took a strike.
Yeah, CC Sabathia making his 119th start here at Yankee Stadium in a Yankee uniform, and he's 53-33. So he's pitched very well here.
This one pulled foul, 0-2. Dozier's again this year turned it on since the All-Star break. First half wasn't that bad, but he's really caught fire again in the second half. Trying to get a board here in the 6th. Down and away, 1-2.
Pitch count very good for Sabathia, 66 pitches. 45 for strikes.
Hit right to Gregorius again. And Dozier retired 1 away. 2018 season tickets are on sale right now. In addition to getting your spot for the 2018 season, you'll be guaranteed postseason tickets for this year if the Twins are in it. And you'll also receive 4 tickets good for that last weekend against the Tigers. Don't miss an inning of postseason play and experience exclusive sweet spot benefits such as 10% off food and beverage at Target Field. For more info or to place a deposit, visit twinsbaseball.com/season tickets today. Here's Mauer, 1 for 2 with a bunt single, and he takes inside ball 1. Regarding that last weekend, it's worth reminding fans, I suppose, that on the season's final day, at least the final scheduled day of the regular season, every major league game will start at the same time. Doesn't make any difference whether it's going to be played in the East Coast or the West Coast. 2-0. All the games will start at 2 o'clock Central. Now imagine the possibilities just with the Twins. Let's imagine that the Twins have a 1-game lead on the Angels going to the last day. The Angel game will be played simultaneously as the Twins game. It should make for some great drama. Ground ball toward the hole and under Gregorius' glove. Mauer has his second hit, and the Twins will get the tying run to the plate.
Yeah, the defense shading Joe up the middle. Gregorius has to dive to his right. Comes up a bit short. Fastball away. Let's see where Gregorius is playing. Ball hit sharply past him in the left field. So Sabathia, who had retired 10 straight, gives up a base hit to Joe.
Polanco dropped down a bunt single his first time up and then struck out swinging in the 3rd. Sabathia back to the stretch for the first time in a while. Polanco strokes one to the left field corner. Mauer will round second and head for 3rd, and Gardner's throw smartly to second base. Mauer scampered to 3rd, and Gardner, aware that Polanco's run is the tying run, through to the right base.
Yeah, Gardner not known to have a strong arm, but a very accurate arm, and he does the right thing right here. Breaking ball, Polanco hitting it down into that corner. Gardner and his speed gets over there and picked up Joe heading for 3rd, but then made the adjustment and threw the ball to second to keep the double play in order.
And now Escobar, who hit into a double play in the first inning. Twins had the bases loaded, nobody out, and Sabathia got a big double play grounder off the bat of Escobar, and then Escobar struck out leading off the 4th. Twins need an extra base hit here to get the game tied up. Escobar takes a strike.
In that first inning with bases loaded, he threw a pitch Sabathia did to Escobar that kind of jammed him, and he hit that ball to short, where they turned the double play.
Boston got a run in the top of the 11th. They lead Baltimore 1-0. One strike to the Twins third baseman. Soft liner caught by Castro. 2 down.
And he went inside again to Escobar, and Escobar just couldn't get that ball into right center field. Fought it off, but Castro, who was shading him up the middle, made the catch for the second out. So Sanchez sitting inside in that little cutter. Escobar just didn't hit it hard enough to get it through the infield.
I think it got him right on the trademark of the bat, right in the middle of the bat. And now Sabathia has passed tomorrow's Twin starter Bartolo Colon on the active list of Twins or of starting pitchers, innings pitched. Here's Buxton, 2 on, 2 out. Down low, ball 1. Buxton hit one off the end of the bat back to Sabathia in the first inning to end the inning. Then he hit a one-hop smash to the backhand side of Frazier. It turned in a brilliant play to get him in the fourth. Inside 2-0. Buxton's had some big at-bats in this series. A big at-bat in the 8th inning facing Aroldis Chapman and lifting a fly ball to right. First inning at-bat tonight was a big one with a runner at third and 2 down, and now this one. Polanco goes and Sanchez has no chance, and now a hit to the outfield should tie the game.
Polanco gets a stolen base, his 11th of the year in 16 tries.
First base open, and Buxton's going to be passed now since the count was 3-0. And that will bring up Rosario with the bases loaded. Find it interesting, Rosario had never faced Sabathia before tonight. Of the young guys, he's got the most experience, but he'd never faced Sabathia. And he's 0 for 2 against him here tonight. Ground ball to short and a nubber to first. Lifted to left. Gardner retreating on the warning track, makes the catch. Rosario 5 feet short of a grand slam. The Twins leave him full in the 6th.
Fox Sports North is presented by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. And by State Farm, here to help life go right with the home and auto protection you deserve.
Sabathia just barely kept Rosario in the yard. Looks like he's done, having given up 2 runs through 6 innings. And that's kind of what the Yankees have gotten from Sabathia. He's had a really good run of 4 or 5 good starts. Had a rough one against the Orioles, but most of them have been like this.
Yeah, Sabathia came in the last 5 starts before tonight. 2-0, 3.14 ERA over his last 5 starts. So 6 innings here, a couple runs allowed.
Now Ryan Presley will come out of the Twins bullpen.
Again, the Twins had him on the ropes in that first inning and only got 1 run with the bases loaded, nobody out.
First pitch to Aaron Judge, over for a strike. Presley trying to do tonight perhaps what G was unable to do, and that is pitch a couple of innings effectively. Off the plate. Jay Bruce has homered for the Indians. They've got an early lead over the Angels. Two and 1. Judge drove in the 3rd Yankee run with a fly ball in the 4th inning. And they added an unearned run in the 5th.
Ryan, a 4-pitch pitcher, fastball. Last pitch, the slider that missed down and away, curveball, occasional changeup.
Big pop up, and it'll get well back into the seats. I'm sorry, Jay Bruce had a single. He did not hit a home run. I misread a tweet. So it's still scoreless. Two and 2 from Presley to Judge. Fouled into the right field corner, a little bit closer to the pole. If you're a big guy and as strong as Judge obviously is, my goodness, why would you even try to pull the ball?
Oh, he could pull.
Oh, I know he can, but he can also
shoot it out over the right field fence. Yep.
He did that last night. He didn't hit that ball particularly well. At least it didn't look that well hit, but with the short wall and the short distance, it went out. 2 and 2 from Presley. And he found a hole on the left side of the infield. His 2nd hit of the ball game. A leadoff hit here in the 6th.
I'm just surprised, as big as he is, that the Twins don't try to pitch him hard inside. Everything has been away. Even in his first at bat, he got an 0-2 curveball. It wasn't a bad pitch, away. A guy that likes to extend his arms picks up his 2nd hit. For the Yankees, they're 7th.
Paid attendance 30,218 here tonight. Gary Sanchez 0 for 3. And Presley gives up another base hit. Judge will around second, head to third. This time Rosario's throw does come in to second base. So the 6th inning starts with a pair of singles.
Sanchez picking up his first hit, jumping on the first pitch. The breaking ball left up.
That one didn't seem to break much. And now Gregorius with runners on the corners and nobody out. Yankees in this series have gone 2 for 23 with men in scoring position. So they've had ample opportunity to put up more runs against the Twins. They just got 2 last night and it was enough.
Yeah, Twins not playing all the way in, maybe about halfway.
Gregorius 1 for 2 with a walk. Caught by Jimenez. It was in the dirt, so there'll be a new baseball put in play. Twins struggling to score runs. I don't want this game to get away from them. Already down a couple. Fouled, and it's 1-1. And the Twins won the series at Target Field. That's been the problem for the Twins, winning in Minnesota. Twins 4-14 against the Yankees the last 5 years at Target Field. And the Twins have never beaten the Yankees in a playoff game in Minnesota. They're 0-7. Missing 2-1. To Dozier, just the one out, one down.
A soft line drive right there with Dozier playing about halfway, gets the first out, so big out for Ryan Presley.
There were no 1, 2, 3 innings in last night's game for the Twins pitching staff, and there haven't been any tonight either. It's been a struggle. The Twins have been pitching into a headwind throughout this series, and now Headley will bat with runners on the corners and one down.
Again, the infield not playing all the way back.
Headley 2 strikeouts, and he was hit by a pitch. Strike one.
Yeah, Ryan has averaged a strikeout per inning. Could use one here.
Nick Turley getting loose. Fouled away, and it's 0-2.
Headley struck out twice against Barrios. And he was hit by a pitch by G.
Which was roughly what Headley said when the ball hit him, where it hit him.
He said G. He said more than that.
Oh, 2 to Headley. Pulled foul. Already the 15th pitch for Presley. Checked his swing, and it's 1-2. Yankees have done a good job of grinding out at bats throughout this series. What they haven't done is a very good job of delivering with men in scoring position. Another foul. Again, they left 9 men on last night. They've left 9 men on already today. We're just in the 6th inning. 2 for 24 with men in scoring position.
Well, it just says that Twins pitchers have made some good pitches when they've needed it. And they need a good pitch here.
Trying to strike out Headley for the 3rd time tonight. There is a big slow breaking ball.
Big strikeout right there for Ryan. 2 outs now, and the runner still at 1st and 3rd. So straight over the top breaking ball. Headley strikes out for the 3rd time. Good pitch.
And now Starlin Castro with runners on the corners and 2 down.
And Castro jumped on the first pitch from G in his last at bat, last inning, single to left.
Roller to the right side. Dozier can't flag it down. A 7-hopper through the right side of the infield. The Yankees add another run in the 6th, and it's 5-2.
Castro just swinging at the first pitch again. Gets his second hit, driving in his first run. His 57th of the year. A little bleeder right here. See where Dozier's playing up the middle. It's a routine ground ball to second base, but there's nobody there.
The Twins are going to let Presley go after Ellsbury here. Turley was warming up. 3 singles and an insurance run for the Yankees in the 6th. Still 2 men out there with 2 down. That kicks away from Jimenez, and both runners will move up. Wild pitch will be charged to Presley on a pitch in the dirt.
You see that ball land just over the plate. It kind of caromed off of Jimenez. A little upset. Didn't maybe knock that ball down a little bit better.
And they kind of tried to smother it by putting the glove on top of it instead of getting in a good blocking position.
We'll go ahead and walk in Ellsbury intentionally, load the bases.
You big believer in the starting pitcher can set a tone for how a game is going to be played, because that's kind of what we've seen here. Some guys who've typically done a good job out of the bullpen seem to be guilty of the same thing that Berríos was guilty of.
Yeah, I mean, starter always controls, I think, the situation. The way you are aggressive. I thought Irvin Santana pitched good last night. It's a good ball game last night.
1-0 to Frazier. Bases loaded with Yankees again. There's a breaking ball, strike 1. And when Berríos left the game in the 4th inning, the Yankees sent 6 men to the plate. 7 of them came to the plate in the 5th. This is the 7th batter here in the 6th. And a fastball, strike 2. So 8 innings last night and 6 more here tonight. There hasn't been a 1-2-3 inning yet pitched by the Twins. And Frazier with a defensive hack.
You saw where Jimenez was. He's going to make sure he got his body in front of that one. He ended up about 5 feet to the left of the plate.
And yet Frazier was able to get a piece of the bat on it. And Jimenez on a pitch that did not go in the dirt had a hard time catching that. 1-2. 24th pitch coming up for Presley, who's given up 3 hits. Where was the pitch? My goodness, it was right down the middle of the plate. Frazier's battling up there.
A little defensive swing there on that breaking ball.
I suppose if your catcher didn't catch the pitch, it's hard to expect the umpire to call it a strike, but that looked like that prior pitch was right down the middle at the knees. Red Sox beat the Orioles 1-0. to short. And Polanco to Mauer ends the inning. Yankees getting runs one at a time in the middle innings, and now they lead 5-2. Here's our Grand Casino story of the game.
Kepler with the 18th home run. That made it a 2-1 Twins lead. That in the third inning. But the Yankees, as you mentioned, Dick, just one here, one there. They did score 2 runs in the bottom of the fourth to take a 3-2 lead, and then added 1 in the fifth and 1 in the sixth.
Well, the Twins still in the game at 5-2. Yankees have left 12 men on base through 6 innings, and you'd like to turn this game around and make them pay the price for leaving so many men on base. Robbie Grossman will face Chad Green.
Now you turn to the bullpen of the Yankees, who we saw last night. These guys can throw that baseball. Green, one of those guys, mainly a starter over his career when he signed with the Yankees, but this year working out of the bullpen and having one heck of a year.
And not much velocity relief with him. You talk about Betances hitting triple digits and Chapman hitting triple digits, although we're convinced now the gun here is a little hot. This guy can get it up into the upper 90s as well. 1-1. Fly to left. And Gardner is there. 1 down.
Well, one thing that the Yankees have done, they have really strengthened their bullpen. Ainley, Robertson coming over from the Chicago White Sox. And you see where they rank. Very good 3.39 ERA. Fourth in Major League Baseball. They don't allow a lot of hits. And they can throw that baseball.
The one Achilles heel in the bullpen was exposed again last night. Betances has a hard time throwing strikes. The Twins loaded the bases, and all they did was turn it over to Chapman, who threw. See, you got Mauer on fastballs registered 100, 101, and 102. And then when Escobar was up, he started at 102 and still went up the velocity ladder to 104. 2-0 to Jimenez.
Showed you the numbers on Green. 64 in the third innings coming into this outing. Only 32 hits allowed, 99 strikeouts.
Up high, 3-0.
Couple stints with the Yankees this year. Green 26 years old.
And Jimenez takes a strike. 0 for 2, a strikeout in the second, a fly ball to right in the fifth. And Jimenez drops a single into left field. The Twins have a single with one out in the 7th. That'll bring Kepler to the plate.
Twins pick up their 7th hit. Fastball right there at 97.
Fox Tracks presented by Carrier.
Six singles and a home run for the Twins.
The home run from Kepler against Sabathia. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. Down and in 1-1. Throwing reliever Tommy Kahnle was acquired by the White Sox. We haven't seen him yet in this series. Fly to left center, and it's chased by Ellsbury. And with Gardner in the vicinity, out number 2. Before Dozier's at bat, the most popular way to follow the Twins postseason push is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. They're in the 3rd inning in Anaheim. No score between the Indians and the Angels. Dozier singled and scored in the 1st. Since then, a pop to short and a ground ball to short. Yankees tempting Dozier to do what Castro did, just roll a base hit to right. Dozier more interested in trying to hit one out to get the Twins within 1. They've got 3 infielders on the left side of second base, and Bird, the first baseman, holding the runner. 2-0. Miss. 2-1.
A hard slider right there. Basically fastball slider is what he's throwing out of that bullpen. Green originally signed by the Tigers, traded over to the Yankees over the winter of 2015.
3-1.
Sanchez thought that was a strike.
Well, the count was 1-2. I thought it was 2-1.
Pretty good pitch right here. At 99.
Morales has missed quite a few pitches.
I believe he has.
2-2. And now 3-2 with Mauer on deck. 2 down. And Jimenez will leave early from first, and Bird will play behind him. Ball 4, and Mauer will have a chance as the tying run. Twins left the bases full in the 6th. David Robertson's warming up. We detailed last night how futile the Twins roster has been against Robertson over the years. And they're going to let Green pitch to Mauer. Green's never faced Mauer. And here's ball 1.
Walks have really not been an issue for Green. Only 15 walks in 65 innings coming in.
Driven to left, right at Gardner. And the Twins leave 2 more aboard in the 7th. And the Yankees lead 5-2. Keep adding on runs, keep threatening in every inning. And here's what's happening so far with the other teams in pursuit of the Twins and the Yankees. The Blue Jays beat the Royals. Scoreless bottom of the 3rd in Anaheim. And the Rangers have a lead on the Mariners. Guess if the Mariners or Rangers or Royals ever get back to the 500 mark, then we'll take them a little more seriously. But here's the remaining schedules. The principal competition for the Twins is coming from the Angels. They have 2 more left with Cleveland after tonight. Then 3 in Houston, 4 in Chicago against the White Sox. Then they're at home against the Mariners. And remember, all the games that last day, that last Sunday, will start at the same time. And Paul Molitor's team has been frustrated here tonight. Both the Yankees and the Twins have left some men on. The Twins with a chance to jump back in the game in the 6th and again in the 7th. Haven't gotten the big hit. That's what eluded them last night.
Well, 5th different reliever Jose Barrios just did not have very good control here tonight. He only went 3 1/3 innings, so more work needed out of the Twins bullpen. Nick Turley, the 5th reliever used, making his 8th relief appearance. He made 3 starts for the Twins. They did not fare too well. Now asked to get some outs here in the 7th inning.
Turley, former Yankee farmhand, made his major league debut earlier this year for the Twins. Now he's in Yankee Stadium, living in the visiting clubhouse and pitching against the Yankees in a key game for his team, the Minnesota Twins. Greg Bird will lead things off in the 7th. Pitch is up, ball 1. And now a strike.
Turley this year split the season between AA and AAA.
Tap to the right side. Dozier is there. Kamauer one away. Turley really quite a story, and that he's here at all in the big leagues is remarkable. Last year about this time he was recovering, I guess, emotionally from one of the most disappointing years he had. He was in a couple of different big league organizations, released, ended up pitching in an independent ball. The Twins signed him in October of last year, and now finds himself in the big leagues on the big mound at Yankee Stadium. One down, and now Gardner. When you go down the ladder, as Turley did last year, and then find yourself with a fresh start and rapidly go up the ladder again, that's baseball's form of redemption.
Well, you pull for guys like him too that didn't give up on his dream of getting to the big leagues.
Well, you know, he'd been around for a while. Last year was his 9th year of professional baseball. And when you go backwards, it's hard to have the resolve to try to go forwards again sometimes when you're that deep into a professional career. 2-1 to Gardner. Foul.
This guy's a pesky little hitter. He's had a good career here in New York. He's kind of the senior member here. This is his 10th season with the Yankees.
On a national talk show today, and I tried to make the point that, you know, there really, I don't think, is any Yankee mystique. The playoff losses really highlighted the Twins' futility against New York for a lot of years, but among position players, Gardner's the only player left for the Yankees who was any part of that. Mauer's the only one who was part of it with the Twins. Backhanded, kind of. Polanco ends up knocking it down, and Gardner has his 3rd hit.
I think Polanco knew that who was running right there. He had to try to get that ball in his glove quickly and turn and throw. And the ball hit off the end of his glove. Would have been a tough play because Gardner at his speed. He does get on first with an infield base hit. So Gardner takes that pitch the other way. Three hits for Brett Gardner. The Yankees have 10.
And we're going to have relief pitcher number 6 enter the ball game with 1 out in the 7th. Workout video because he's gone to the mound to make a lot of pitching changes.
Well, I said that one time we had the game. I think we used 5 or 6 relievers. I said it was Mike Scioscia because that's what Mike Scioscia needs to do in Anaheim. You know, constantly bring in new arms. Well, here's John Curtis making just his 6th major league appearance, trying to get that high ERA down by getting a couple outs here.
Curtis will face Aaron Judge.
This is the 4th different pitcher that Judge has faced in this ball game.
Welcome to September.
Yeah.
There goes Gardner on the first pitch, and there is absolutely no chance or point in throwing to second. He stole on first movement from Curtis and has stolen another base.
Yeah, Gardner stole 2 bases on last night's ball game. Now with 23 on the year in 28 tries. So on the first pitch, good throw by Jimenez, but you see Gardner beat the throw. He's already getting up by the time Dozier applied the tag.
Twins are threatening, I guess, to take a look at it to see whether he might have somehow
come off the bag.
The throw was about 3 seconds after Gardner got to the base. So a runner at second, 1 down. And another one gets by Jimenez, and Gardner will go to third. Another wild pitch. Ball in the dirt. Jimenez having a tough time blocking these.
Curtis with a 2nd wild pitch.
Twins have to bring the infield in. They're down by 3 runs. Only 1 out in the inning, and the count 2-0 to Judge. Three and 0. Curtis having a tough time throwing strikes here. Talked about Turley and how his career kind of went backwards last year. Curtis has progressed in breathtaking speed through the Twins system. Last year, he started the year in low A Cedar Rapids, was advanced to high A Fort Myers. This year, he started in Chattanooga, was advanced to Triple A, and now he finds himself in a pennant race in the big leagues.
Yeah, only his 4th professional season since signing with the Twins in 2014 at the University of Texas.
3-1 to Judge. And a foul ball. Might have winged Jimenez. 3-2. Escobar comes home. High throw. Got him. Good tag by Jimenez. Gardner standing like he thinks he got in, but from up here, and we did have a pretty good look at it, it looked like Jimenez dropped a quick tag and clipped him at the plate.
The Yankees will look at it. Nice play by Escobar right there. He had to play that short hop. That's his ball right there. You see Escobar almost leave the ground to make that, but the quick tag by, you see the high throw, Jimenez going down and tagging Gardner.
And we will move on with the out recorded at home plate. So good play by Escobar, maybe a better play by Jimenez, who had to field a high throw with a speedy runner coming home. And he just barely got Gardner. 2 down, a runner at first, and now Sanchez. And some attention paid to Judge. Remember, Gardner took off on Curtis's first pitch. Cleveland has a run in the 4th inning against the Angels. Bruce with his second hit of the night. Meanwhile, Mike Clevenger's pitched 3 no-hit innings. Over for a strike.
Yeah, better breaking ball there by Curtis. Judge has probably about a 3-foot lead. And a couple throwovers. Curtis just 24 years old. Twins number 6 pick in 2014.
Sanchez tries to hit a home run, and it's 0-2. You're wondering why we're in the 7th inning and it's after 10 o'clock back home, Twins territory. 2 reasons. One, this is a very slowly paced game, and we started an hour late because of a rain delay. Two strikes to Sanchez. And you see why Curtis rapidly climbed through the system. Mid to upper 90s velocity. And a good slider. Two and two.
That slider missing down and away.
Yankees have left a dozen men on. Curtis trying to leave Judge on here in the 7th inning. And another throw over with Judge maybe leaning off the base. Judge goes and Sanchez strikes out. A scoreless 7th out of the 8th. It's 5-2 New York. All right, thank you. It's a shame that there are no head-to-head games left between the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Yeah.
That would make that American League East race really fascinating. But as it is, every time the Yankees win, the Red Sox seem to win. Here's David Robertson.
They worked an inning and a third in last night's ball game through only 15 pitches, 11 for strikes.
The good news was the White Sox traded Robertson out of the American League Central. The bad news is they traded him to the Yankees, who the Twins are facing here and who the Twins might very well face in the wild card game, because they don't do well against David Robertson. Polanco takes a strike, and it's 1-1.
Now Robertson, since he's become a Yankee again for the second time, making his 25th relief appearance, only given up 14 hits in 29 innings. 9 walks, 2 intentional with 39 strikeouts.
Polanco fouls it, and it's 1-2. He got 4 outs last night. Betances only got 1, and then Chapman got 5. So if you're wondering what life might be like 2 weeks from tonight if the Twins are in the wild card game facing the Yankees with the Yankees leading, well, you might be looking at it. Starting with Robertson. Checked his swing, called, 3rd strike. And Polanco's gone, 1 away.
Well, fastball inside. Well, Robertson has a good curveball too, and he has that little cutter that he'll throw just like that at 94. Excellent control.
Escobar 0 for 3. One and 0. And a strike, 1-1. And a foul over the Yankee dugout.
David Robertson, 32 years old, came up with the Yankees in 2008. Spent 7 seasons with them and then signed that 4-year contract by the White Sox and became traded back here on July 18th.
And Escobar strikes out. There is the throw to first to complete the strikeout. 2 more strikeouts for Robertson. Tonight's Coors Banquet timeless moment from 2011. The Twins had to fly all the way out here to play 1 game and had to be a part of history to boot. With Mariano Rivera setting the record for saves. He surpassed Trevor Hoffman's total of 601.
And he had a lot of those saves because he had good setup guys like David Robertson where he could get save opportunities.
And he appreciated those setup men because he was once one himself. Remember, he had to set up John Wetland in the early years. 1-0 to Byron Buxton. And a foul, 1-1. Moya warming up. He may get the bottom of the 8th. And Buxton swings through strike 2.
Hard curveball. He's not an overpowering reliever, kind of like what we see Chapman or Betances, but he's got excellent control, good bite on that curveball.
bounce for Robertson.
Look out the side.
And the Twins go down quickly in the 8th. You're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm. In game 2, and Gabriel Moya will come in to try to keep the Twins within striking distance.
Yeah, Moya just making his 3rd major league appearance. A young 22-year-old that came over from the Diamondbacks in the John Ryan Murphy trade back in late July. Pitched the season after he got traded in Double-A Chattanooga.
And so the Twins are using extensive relief help because of the short start by Barrios.
Yeah, Moya, the 7th reliever used here tonight.
List of relievers not used almost as long as the ones that have been used. 7 relievers used, and yes, 7 of them not used.
Welcome to September baseball.
A strike. Gregorius with a double and a walk in 4 trips. He's lined out once to Kepler and right, another time to Dozier. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Fastball slider so far to Gregorius.
We might have one more left. Michael Tonkin. Indians lead 2-0 over the Angels. Top of the 5th inning. Roberto Perez with a home run for Cleveland. And Moya rather quickly strikes out Gregorius.
Went right after him with a fastball. Well, fastball, slider, and then the good fastball at 91.
Headley with a couple of strikeouts. He was hit by a pitch, then he struck out again. Talking earlier about Berríos and how compared to the bookends on either side of him in the rotation, Irvin Santana and Bartolo Colon, he's kind of a high energy guy. How about this guy? Moya, very animated out there.
Good change up there.
And ultimately that's all that matters, isn't it? His stuff.
You know, we had a guy like that, Eddie Guardado, that came out and with a lot of enthusiasm and desire.
Yeah. Eddie didn't have this delivery.
No. But he look at the eyes right there. He's determined.
And a liner. 2 down, and that'll bring up Starlin Castro. The push to the playoffs is on FS1. The postseason approaching. Brian Dozier and the Twins are fighting for every win as they face Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers. Thursday's game will not be where you're watching it now. It will be on FS1 at 6 p.m. Central. So you and I have an off day in Detroit.
I think I'll be going to the game.
Yeah, I think I will too. There's Castro. And there's strike one. Moya doing a nice job throwing strikes, getting some quick outs. And he is on the verge, perhaps, of pitching the first 1, 2, 3 inning for the Twins in this series. On the outside corner, strike 2.
Castro didn't like that call. I think a lot of hitters and catchers didn't like the calls here tonight by the home plate umpire.
It's a save situation as it stands right now. Chapman pitched an inning and 2/3 last night. There's a check swing and a ball. We talk about the number of pitchers used. In this case, so far, 8, counting the starter. And I can't help but think about the catchers. 8 different repertoires of pitches, right-handed, left-handed. Tapped, and Escobar is going to have to hurry. That's a fair ball, and it'll be a hit. And we just can't get a 1, 2, 3 inning, I guess.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins LLC. Yeah, not much Escobar could do on that kind of a slow roller. So Castro picks up his 3rd hit of the ball game, an infield base hit. Guess we're saving the 1, 2, 3 innings for Bartolo Colon.
There you go. I like that. By the way, the Yankees switched their starter for tomorrow's game. It was supposed to be Masahiro Tanaka. And instead, and I'm not sure why, but they've changed it to their ace, Luis Severino. So the Twins will have a tough task tomorrow because Severino's been awfully good for the Yankees.
Yeah, young 23-year-old.
Fouled back. Ellsbury with a big swing. It'll be Bartolo Colon, made one of his early starts for the Twins against the Yankees, and it started out great, and then the Yankees kind of gained on him in the middle innings. And Severino's just been an ace. He has pitched better than Sabathia, Tanaka, all the rest of them.
Since the All-Star break, 8-2 with a very good earned run average. Severino made the All-Star team, and this is really his first full year with the Yankees.
1-1. Moya to Ellsbury. And now 1-2. Well, for Moya, 13 pitches and 10 strikes after what the Twins saw earlier today with Berríos and some of the relievers. That's a welcome sight. To short left, hit right to Rosario.
Good inning for Moya.
Moya has a scoreless 8th. We'll see if the Twins have a surprise in store for the Yankees in the ninth. Started against Aroldis Chapman, who comes in a save situation to try to pin down tonight's win.
Yeah, Chapman went 19 saves on the year. He worked in last night's ball game. He got 5 outs on 16 pitches, 13 for strikes. He had a couple strikeouts. He came in the 8th inning after Panasas just really struggled with his control. Ended up getting out of the 8th. And then had a 1-2-3 ninths and ended the ball game by striking out Escobar right here. With a fastball that clocked at what, 104 on the gun here.
Yeah, which we now think is a little hot because he had Barrios at what, 97 and 98, I believe. Eddie Rosario will try to get aboard here. Then Grossman and Jimenez. Kepler would hit 4th. The Twins have bench players Adrianza, Vargas, Granite, Castro, Garver, and Goodrum. First pitch fouled back at 101. Biggest at bat of the game as far as the Twins trying to turn this game back around came in the 6th inning. The Twins had filled the bases with a couple of walks and an eventual intentional walk, and Rosario came up. He was the last man Sabathia faced, and Eddie got under one and hit it out near the edge of the warning track for the final out of the inning in left field. 1-1. Up and in, and a swing and a foul, 1-2.
Yeah, Chapman, 29 years old, born in Cuba, defected in 2009. Ended up signing with the Yankees. Excuse me, Cincinnati Reds. Came up in 2010.
.103. Robertson struck out the side, and Chapman starts with a strikeout here in the 9th.
Paul Molitor said in the pregame, yeah, that's the pitch you have to lay off of, that high fastball. It's tough. No, we talked about Nolan Ryan earlier, 5,714 strikeouts.
It was interesting. Paul was asked today in his session with the media about who he faced that had this kind of velocity, and he mentioned 2 guys. Goose Gossage, The ball tapped to third to Hopper. Easy play for Frazier. 2 down. Bring up Jimenez. September 29th and 30th Fan Appreciation Weekend presented by Target. Friday and Saturday, the first 30,000 fans receive a Twins stocking cap courtesy of Target. For details and tickets, visit twinsbaseball.com/tickets today.
And who was the other?
Nolan Ryan.
Was it?
Yeah, he said of course this was in Nolan's heyday when he was with the Angels. There weren't radar guns. He said it was every bit, in his mind, every bit as fast as what we see 1 inning at a time from Chapman.
I tell you what, when Goose Gossage with the White Sox, they had a reliever, Terry Forrester.
Yes.
He could bring it too.
Ended up, I think, finishing his career in the Twins minor league system.
Yep. He could at one time bring some heat.
Jimenez trying to keep the game alive. Kepler's in the on deck circle, but if Jimenez does keep the game alive, we would anticipate someone pinch hitting for Kepler. That's down the line. That's a fair ball. Jimenez has kept the game alive with his second hit, and he'll round first, head for second, and the throw, thankfully, a little offline. So Kepler in the on deck circle, and he will hit. He hit a home run against lefty CC Sabathia, and he'll get a chance here against Aroldis Chapman.
Jimenez picking up his second hit. Ball right down that third baseline, his 8th double of the year. So he jumps on that fastball. You can see it stayed middle in. Jimenez opening up quickly, lining it down the line.
This is interesting because of what it might portend for the future for Kepler. Getting a start against Sabathia and getting a chance to hit in the 9th against Chapman. Maybe a sign that the platoon system in the outfield is over. 1-0 to Kepler. If he can reach, Dozier would have a chance as the tying run. Foul back 1-1.
That's the one you swing at right there, and he just fouled it off. The ball that was down about thigh high, laid off that first high fastball. Chapman basically fastball. He does have a slider.
Low, 2-1.
That was it right there.
Twins will face the right-hander Severino tomorrow, and then, as you might expect, the Tigers have listed all 4 of their starters as TBA. Check swing and a foul.
He's starting all 4 games.
I don't think it's the same guy, but they haven't tipped their hand yet as to which prospect they're going to run out there. 2-2 to Kepler. Driven to left, but Gardner is there. Good at bat for Kepler.
Hit it good.
But the Yankees end up winning game 2 of the series 5-2.
Yeah, just not a lot of life for the offense here tonight. Could have been because Barrios really struggled through the 3 1/3 innings he pitched. I don't know, but the Yankees, they beat the Twins again.
Last night, Anthony, it was a good ball game. The Twins just came up a run short. Tonight, different story. And the Yankee late inning relievers end up getting the job done again.